Hey everybody, it's the Christmas season. Welcome to the G. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read books and talk about books. No special effects, no theme music, nothing special going on here. Thank you to all those who have liked and subscribed. I really appreciate it. We obviously did not meet our Christmas miracle of 1,000 subscribers. Oh well, hell, didn't even meet 200. Thank you to all that have subscribed. I really appreciate your support. It's been a year, and if you buy into any of those guys that post, oh, you can make 1 million viewers in a week, or you can do this, or you can get monetized, or you can do X, or you can do Y. I'm an example of I can do a video every day. I can make 5 videos in a day. Nada. I know this lady, she makes a video, she gets 200 views in an hour. Hell, I haven't gotten 200 views in a year. So anyways, we are doing the Comfort Series books. We are doing my Janet Evanovich books. Say hi to the co-host. She's here. No one comes to my house. I have no relatives coming. There is no family. There is no friends coming. I know it's a little bright. There's very few ornaments on the tree. It's all lights. It wasn't me. And I only decorate the bookcase up, halfway up, because of the cats. Because they will walk through the lights. They won't get hurt, but they will take the entire thing down with them. So, this is what you get. We are doing our Comfort Series. I had a visit with a relative today. A distant relative, we will not be together for Christmas, and he has some family issues that he's working through, and his wife just died, who was my aunt, and he's dealing with some stuff, and it's just, I have this thing where if you say, she's looking for comfort here. It's just, and you can fill in, you can make whatever you want. It's just simple. It's just bad. You can fill in the blank as you want. So anyways, we are doing my books today. Janet Evanovich, Tricky 22. And I don't know. I have some postcards. She did them for a while. I'll have to check and see. Yes, what? Come here. God, where was I? Hold on a second. Okay, not as pretty. But anyways, we are doing Tricky 22. There we go, Tricky 22. So Morelli's not feeling so good, and this is the first. He hasn't been feeling well for a couple books, and he gets some of it. I'm pretty sure this is another one, but anyway. So she goes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She's interrupting. She has an FTA, and she's on the roof of her house. She wants to kill herself before going to jail. Morelli goes in the house, talks to her. She agrees to go in. She slips, she falls. She ends up on a bounce bag. Morelli takes Stephanie back to his house. And we get some interesting news here. He deserves to be clocked over the head for what Morelli does. We cuddled together in post-lethargy, and I wondered about Morelli's thoughts. What was the source of the distraction? Murder, mayhem, marriage. Suppose it was marriage. What would I say? Things have been really good between us lately. I might say yes. Then again, I might not be ready. Marriage was a huge commitment, and there would be children. I suppose I could manage children. I'm pretty good taking care of my hamster Rex. I gave up a sigh. Probably I would have to accept his proposal. He would be crushed if I didn't. His police work might suffer. He'd be depressed and demoralized. He'd have self-doubt. About tonight, I said to him, you seem a little distracted. I've a lot on my mind. I've tried not to smile too much. I was pretty sure this was it. I wondered if he had a ring. Would you like to talk about it? I asked him. There's not much I can say right now, but I think we should cool this off for a while and date other people. What? I was thinking about a lifestyle change, and I needed to be uninvolved while I figure it out, Morelli said, so I'm giving you the freedom to look around, as long as you don't look around with Ranger. Shoot the man. Shoot the man. So then Connie tells her about they have a new FTA. Stephanie is a bounty hunter. Lula is her partner. If you haven't guessed, Morelli is her on-again, off-again boyfriend. Ranger is special forces. He also owns a security business, and he is on-again, off-again temptation. There's Grandma Mazur is the comedy relief of the books. Stephanie's mother, who's always stressing and complaining about Stephanie and her job. Vinny's the boss. Connie is the office manager. And we have some other people drop in every now and then. We haven't seen Joyce Barnhart in a couple of books. We haven't seen Terry Gilman in a couple of books, which were extraneous relationships. So anyway, she gets this new FTA, Kenny Globovich. His nickname is Gobbles. He's the leader of a Zeta House, a fraternity. And all of this, we don't find out till like the end, but it's all tied together. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. So they go to the fraternity house and they get nowheres. And they all deny knowing their president. So that goes there. Then Stephanie speculates that there's a reason that Kenny violated his bond agreement. She says there has to be a reason. He has no priors. They go talk to the dean of students, Martin Mentor, and Martin really hates Ken for some unknown reason. Ranger sends her a text that he needs a date. Then they go looking for Stanley Puka, Ken's advisor. Stanley thinks the school is evil. They talk to the administrator, teacher's PA, I forget what they call it, the teacher's admin, the teacher's assistant, professor's admin. He says that if they want to find Gobbles, they got to go to Julie Woolley, Gobbles' girlfriend. She's a journalism major. They go talk to Stanley. Stanley gives them Julie's school schedule. So they leave him. Then they try and go after Billy Bacon. They get him. They chew lunch. And again, I've mentioned this previously, the history of these two. Now, they've got the FTA in the car with handcuffs, and they stop for lunch. They don't go straight to the police station. They stop for lunch. Now, unlike previous times, like with the lottery ticket in the other book, only Stephanie went in the store and Lula stayed in the car. But they get hijacked. and kidnapped. Someone wants to take Lula's car to the body shop. She calls Ranger. They look for Lula. She asks Ranger about the date. They're going to a viewing. Yes, ma'am. Can I help you? What's going on? She's too funny. So they're going to a viewing, and all the social experiences of the you're driving me nuts there, girl. All the I lost it now with her. Wait, come here. You're gonna drive me crazy. So there are 4 society norms in the burg: the beauty salon, the bakery, the deli, and the funeral home for viewings. So Ranger is taking her to a funeral home for a viewing because he has been hired to provide security for this guy. So this. Let me see. Why do they want this out so much? No, I don't know. I don't know why I wanted that. So then they go looking for Billy Bacon. Nothing. Stephanie goes to the office. Still no Lula. Vinny takes Lula's lunch. She goes back to Kiltman. To the student paper, she finds Julie Woolley. Julie says all the charges are bogus. Minter just wants to close down Zeta House, and he's using gobbles to do it. When she returns to the car, there's a threatening note on her windshield: "Stop hunting Gobbler or else." She calls Morelli. He gets upset. She called Ranger first, returns home, and researches Julie Woolley. Joe calls. Lula turned up. Is she okay? She's okay, but the people she was with are a mess. The story I have is that she was at the curb in front of the deli and 2 idiots got in with guns drawn and told her to drive. Turns out they just robbed the Korean grocery 2 doors down from the deli. I guess they thought Lula's Firebird was a step up from the stolen Kia they'd been driving. Where did they take her? Chop shop in Camden. Uh-oh. Yup. Big mistake. Originally, it seems these morons just wanted to get away. They had planned to acquire enough money to get a bus ticket to Texas, where they'd steal enough money to buy them a car wash. They told Lula to take them to Camden bus station, but when they got to thinking they could make more on the Firebird, they stole from the grocery. Lula loves her Firebird. That's an understatement. I'm not sure how she managed it, but when they got to Camden and ordered her out of the car, she disarmed the guy in front and beat the crap out of the 2 of them. They were happy to see the police arrive. Why Camden? They didn't want to leave from Trenton. Too easy to track. So Lula comes back to Stephanie's apartment and tells her all about what happened. She goes to the viewing with Ranger, and wait a second here. So Ranger picks her up for the date to go to the funeral parlor. "Babe," Ranger said as I slid in next to him, didn't want to risk the red dress. He had told her or requested her to wear the red dress. Mrs. Kransky and Mrs. Rundig will most likely be at this viewing. They would call my mother and tell her I was at the viewing wearing a tight red dress with cleavage, and then my mother would head straight for the Jim Beam bottle. Bad enough that I'm going to be there with you. That's worth 2 Advil. I thought your mother liked me. My grandmother likes you. My mother worries that you might be related to Satan. Then he's supposed to be providing security for Doug Lincoln because his business partner was murdered. And these are all connected. It's one big story. Sometimes we have 2 or 3 different stories going on in these books, but this is all connected. These individuals are all part of a bigger story. Then there's a side story that's kind of cute. So we will get there. And I can't do these books without sharing. I have to share. I have to share my enjoyment in these books with you. Because I enjoy these books. These are my comfort books. These are my go-to books. Where was I? The lobby was filled with the usual freeloaders and gawkers. My grandma mazur was one of them. A hush fell over the crowd when we entered, and they parted like when Moses showed up at the Red Sea to let us make our way to the viewing. Ranger and I were known in the community, and it was obvious we were there to ensure the Lincoln's safety. Grandma Mazza spotted me from across the room. Yoo-hoo! And she waved. Grandma has some things in common with the Queen of England. They have the same hairstyle, they each carry their purse in the crook of their arm, and no one tells either of them what to do. Then Larry wants to leave the viewing. His wife does not want to leave the viewing without her cookie. I don't know why she's not allowed to leave without her cookie, but she refuses to leave without her cookie. We reached the cookie table and Monica poured herself a cup of tea and took an oatmeal raisin cookie. I could put your tea in a to-go cup, I said to Monica. I'm in no rush, Monica said, so just chill. Grandma Mazur snagged the last vanilla sandwich cookie and turned to Monica. What's the story, Grandma asked Monica. Did your husband kill Harry? Excuse me? Monica said, who are you? I'm Stephanie's granny, she said. Monica looked at me. You brought your grandmother? What kind of agency does my husband employ? I didn't bring her, I said. She was already here. She goes to all the viewings. Not all of them, Grandma said. Sometimes they conflict with my television shows. I could just see people jostling around by the viewing door. Voices were raised. There was a disturbance of some sort, and I didn't want to hang around to identify the source. We should go, I said to Monica, now. Monica pretended not to hear. She reached for another cookie, and Harry's wife knocked me aside and got into Monica's face. No cookies for killers, she said. I paid for these cookies, and you can't have any. The wife slapped the cookie out of Monica's hand, and Monica splashed her tea onto the widow's pink suit. Bitch, the wife yelled. You cow, you cheap whore. In an instant, they were on the ground, gouging eyes and pulling hair. I tried to wade in to separate them, but they were rolling around, and I couldn't get a good grip. Someone kicked out and caught me in the back of the leg, and I went down too. The funeral director ran in, made the mistake of getting too close, and Monica bit him. This was worth the price of admission, Grandma said. You gotta love it. It's so much fun. You have to just enjoy these books. So they go to look for Julie, Ruley, and Globovec. They see him in the diner, but he gets away. They go back to Stephanie's apartment, and they get close. And this is just I just have to share because it's just um it's just you have to admit it's just fun. These books are fun. You have to enjoy these books. So they get this call that the guy they were guarding has been shot. And his wife, Monica, all she cares about is getting some more vodka. Apparently, I think she's an alcoholic. We weren't hired for 24-hour continuous personal protection, Ranger said, very calm, no emotion. The alarm system in your house is working perfectly. Your outdoor perimeter security lights are working perfectly. They were working so perfectly that they got my stupid husband shot. He walked outside to sneak a smoke, the lights went on, and bang, some asshole shot him. He was an easy target. Unfortunate, Ranger said. Do you have any idea who did this? There's a big list. He wasn't popular. Hell, I didn't even like him. I didn't see anything, if that's what you mean. I was watching television, one of those CSI shows. There was lots of shooting. I didn't even find him until there was a commercial. So it goes on. I'm going to check on your husband, Ranger said to Monica. Stephanie will stay with you. Great, Monica said. That makes me feel a lot better. Not at all. How about her crazy grandmother? Is she here too? Just me, I told Monica. She sucked on her e-cigarette some more and watched Ranger leave. Nice ass. Is he boinking you? Not recently, I said. I sort of had a boyfriend. At least I thought I did. Yeah, I sort of have a husband, but that wouldn't stop me. Looks like you're trying to quit smoking. I swear if you really enjoy something, you can count on it being no good for you. We switched to these electronic things a couple of weeks ago. I'm not happy, but I'm managing to stick with the program. So Stephanie and him have a conversation. There's something really, I have to find it. So Ranger wants her to do some extra security with Monica. And Stephanie's like, oh, no. And he's like, I'll give you a car. And she's like, really? And where is it? I know it says this. I know it says it. All right. I can't find it. But anyway, so she gets a new car from Ranger, and then she goes to the office, and Morelli is there, and he's talking about the shooting, and he's questioning Stephanie about what happened. And then she gets a package from this guy named Scooter, but there's no further information. And that's your little separate story. But the rest of it is all connected. They go to try Billy Bacon. They have no luck. Then they go back to Kiltman. They talk about the cellar and at the frat house. They go see Puka. Then they go to Zeta House. Now, if you listen to the audiobooks, And I highly, highly, highly suggest that you get friendly with Lorelei King, because I cannot do this justice. Um, uh, so, they got balloon bombed when they went to Zeta's house. Only the balloons were not filled with water; they were filled with beer. Um, so we left the Zeta house and went to the student center. Julie really wasn't in the newspaper office, wasn't in the food court, wasn't in sight. This beer smell coming out of my clothes is making me hungry, Lula said. I need onion rings to go with the beer. I'm voting to move on to Billy Bacon. Sounded like a good idea to me. We weren't getting anywhere with the gobble search, and I wasn't feeling a lot of love for Kitman College. We heard a car alarm wailing when we got to the administration building. We rounded the corner and saw that the noise was coming from the Mercedes, the car that Ranger just gave her. I used my key fob to shut off the alarm, and Lula and I approached the car. There's a goose in your car, Lula said. She looked more closely. There's a whole bunch of gooses, and they pooped on everything. A small crowd had gathered on the fringe of the lot. Minter was one of them. This has all the earmarks of a Zeta stunt, Minter said. Somebody should let those gooses out, Lula said. I don't think they're happy about being locked up in there. Not happy was a vast understatement. These geese were in a blind rage, viciously pecking at the windows, shredding the leather seats, and crapping their brains out. The crowd took a step back. No one wanted to get in the way of freaked out geese. Maybe you should be the one to open the door, Minter said to Lula. I don't see what the big deal is, Lula said. They just want to get out and go about their business. Lula opened the door and the geese rushed out at her. There was a lot of wing flapping and Lula shrieking. It was like she was caught in a goose blizzard, and they moved on, hurling themselves at whoever got in their way. Everyone but Lula and I fled to the safety of the building. Lula stood dazed for a couple beats. These geese had pecked at her lavender afro and torn holes in her clothes. There was fresh globs of goose poop dotted across the pavement, and a lot of honking in the distance. Ranger's black Porsche cruised into the lot. Ranger got out, looked at the Mercedes, and smiled. Do not smile, I said to him. This is all your fault for giving me a Mercedes. I was perfectly happy with my junky old car, but you had to come along and set me up for disaster. You knew this was going to happen. You've probably been sitting around all morning counting down the minutes until I destroyed the car. It's a record breaker, right? Headline: Stephanie Plum destroys a car in less than 4 hours. Okay, so I knew I was out of control, but I couldn't seem to reel it in. I was doing a goose imitation, flapping my arms and yelling, pacing around. I'm so aggravated, I said. Why me? Why do these things happen to me? You gotta love it. You just have it. Then they get Big Blue. And as I said before, nothing happens to Big Blue ever. Ever. That car is gold. She can kill people with it, and nothing, no accident, no scratches, nothing will be on Big Blue. And then she tells her mom the news. It's a terrible job. You should quit and marry Joseph. I blew out of breath. What? My mother said. I'm not ready to marry Morelli. Why not? He has a good job, he has a house, he has a nice car. He's hot, Grandma said. Don't forget about him being hot. I wondered if there was dessert. There was a tiny There was a white tasty pastry box sitting on the counter. Grandma saw me look over at it. Italian cookies, she said. Pinwheels and almond horns and pistachio shortbread. She got up and brought the box to the table. You're not getting any younger, my mother said to me. What are you waiting for? You should bring him to dinner on Friday. I'll make potwurst. I took a pinwheel. We broke up. My mother's eyes got wide. What? Broke up? Why? He dumped me. What did you do? You must have done something. I made a show of looking at my watch. Oh gosh, look at the time. I gotta go. Um, Morelli finds her and tells her that the ballistics came back, that Doug Lincoln and Harry Getz were killed with the same gun. Then Lula comes in and says she got another package from the secret admirer. It's a Bob. How should we say that? It's a Bob. So Stephanie, Lula, and Connie go for a girls' night. Then they go to Zeta House, and they're trying to check out the cellar, and someone tells them that Puka has the only key to the cellar. So then things start to add up a little bit. Morelli says he wants to talk about Doug Lincoln's murder and Harry Getz, and they both had gunpowder on the bottom of their shoes. So there's a connection here. The murders are connected. There's other murders that are connected. It's a big, huge case. So Connie, she goes back to the office, and there's another present for her. So they decide to set a trap for Billy Bacon. They have Connie order a whole bunch of pizzas, and then they trap him with the pizza. It's a thing. So they try and get Blatzo, doesn't work. Then they try and get Billy with the pizza, it works. She goes to her apartment, there's flowers, happy birthday, sorry I couldn't be here to celebrate with you. We'll get to that. So Ranger comes to fulfill his agreement to help her get Ernest Blatzo. He's really bad. The next day, they have to go to another funeral first. And Grandma Mazur is there, and Monica wants more vodka. The funeral director Monica tells the funeral director that she wants to leave. He wants to know who will greet the guests, who will stand at the head of the casket. And Stephanie volunteers Grandma. You have got to love it. The funeral director looked alarmed. Grandma, surely you don't mean Edna Mazur. Yep, I said Edna was very close to the family. Oh dear, he said. She's a nice lady, but I don't think. I waved Grandma over to the casket. What's up, Grandma said. The widow needs to leave, and we thought since you were so close to the deceased, you might be able to fill in. Stand at the head of the casket? Yes. Hot damn, I'll do a real good job. She looked into the casket. What's the guy's name again? Doug. Don't worry a thing about me. Me and Doug are going to be just fine. The funeral director bit into his lower lip, made the sign of the cross, and stepped back. Stephanie takes Monica to a bar, and she gives Stephanie a few more details on the murders. She gets plastered at the bar. She tells Ranger to take her home. And instead of taking her to her apartment, he takes her to Rangeman. They go to the funeral. And there's plenty of buffet food afterwards and plenty of vodka. Stephanie goes to her parents' house to bake a cake. Lula comes. There was another package sent to the office for her. And then the little mystery is solved. Because in previous books, we've had the stalking situation be a dangerous situation. But this is one uh, there's a name on this card. It's the same as the last time, Scooter Stud Muffin. That's a coincidence, Grandma said. I used to friend someone called himself Scooter Stud Muffin. I haven't heard from him in a while on account of I blocked him from my account. He was one of the friends that was getting weird. You mean like Facebook? Lula said. Yeah, it wasn't Facebook. It was a romance site. Granny, you've been catfishing. Catfishing is when you pretend to be somebody else or somebody you're not to get a date. So then Stephanie meets with Gobbles and she gets a story. And Stephanie and Ranger go to get Blatzo, and it's a huge deal. You'll have to read it. So then when she gets back to her apartment, someone has delivered the guy the chocolates. Stephanie's enjoying the chocolate. She got a zip. Gobbles tells his story to Stephanie, and stuff starts to make. Shoot, what happened here? I have no idea what happened. I have no idea. I hope it's still there. So some of the stuff they're connecting. They get into the basement, and all the stuff starts to add up. So I had a note page. I don't know what happened to it. But to find out what's going on with these murders, to find out who's murdering these people, to find out how they're all connected, you have to read the book, and how Stephanie ends up in serious danger, and how she actually ends up rescuing herself, sort of, kinda, but then Ranger steps in, and I won't tell you about the murder, but I love spoiling, and this is a spoiler. Spoiler alert. We have a conversation at the end. Morelli had a colonoscopy. The colonoscopy was the best thing that happened to me. Not only am I perfect inside, but I haven't had any xanthium gum in 3 days, and I feel great. How did you find out about the xanthium gum? I was working with an allergist along with a bunch of other doctors, and the allergy panel just came back. You're allergic to xanthium gum. Actually, it's a sensitivity, but it's like an allergy. I can eat meat and drink wine. I just have to read labels and stay away from food additives. And it's not stress, it's not my job, it's not you. Morelli sat back and grinned at me. I'm cured, so you want to get married? I don't know. Do you have a ring? No. Do I need a ring? Yes! You need a ring! My mom will expect to see a ring. Since I don't have a ring, maybe we can get engaged to get engaged. What would that involve? It would involve getting you out of those Pilates pants, unless you'd like to stay for dessert. So, check it out. I hope you had a good Christmas. Tricky 22 is in the can, and watch out for Turbo 23. And where is she? Oh, there she is. She's under the tree. MERRYCHRISTMAS. Mary. I see. Have a good night, or a good day, or maybe a good year. We can all say, I think it was father, mother, brother, sister, whole bunch of words. How about A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, KLMNOPQRSTUVW. Sexy. Y. C. Have a good one. Most appreciative. Please like and subscribe this adequate, barely there, horrible channel. I hope you're enjoying my books with me. Have a good one.